Hey, today I want to show you how to use triads and play over that very simple chord progression, two chords, A, G to A minor, and how you can include triads if you're playing to a backing track, stuff like that, right? We're going to be using the E in the E minor shape, and it's going to be very easy. So, how do we play in E shape? We use this note, this note, this note, this note, this note, and this note, correct? Awesome. Now I'm going to color this note blue. And the reason being is that because we're going to move that blue note one fret lower in pitch, we're going to minorize that note to create an E minor. So in order to get that chord to be a minor chord, we just go like that, and that becomes an E minor chord, correct? E major, E minor. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that if you want to play triads, okay, we got to switch the colors, just so you can see. I'm going to color that red, green, red, again, blue. I'm going to leave that blue. I'm going to color this green, and I'm going to color this red. And why colors? Well, what is a triad? A triad is three notes played in unison in harmony. So there's three colors inside of this chord, which means there's only three notes. These three notes are the same note. These two notes are the same note, and there's only one blue note. Awesome. That's why to go from an E to an E minor, only that note has to change. But looking at this, you can figure out your triads. For example, is this going to be a triad? Does this include three notes, three colors? No, it only includes red and green, right? But is this a triad? Yes, it is a triad, right? It has green, red, and blue. Is this a triad? It also is a triad because it has red, blue, and green. And is this a triad? Strings 3, 2, and 1. Yes, it is because it has blue, green, and red. Awesome. So now you know all of your triads inside of an E major chord. But what about E minor? Same exact thing. Because only the blue note moved, the triads are located in the same position. Now, here's what's cool. You can move that same shape across the fretboard to find all the other triads. Let me explain. That note I'm going to place here, correct? Okay, what happens to that note if I move it here? It's going to become an F, right? Well, what happens if I copy this over here? Instead of starting here, I'm going to start here. What would happen, right? If I go like this. Like that, like that, like that, like that, and like that. Isn't that your F chord? Isn't that an F chord? But look at it. It's an E shape. It's exactly the same shape, only it moved one fret higher in pitch. So it's following the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F. What would happen if I move that note again to a G, for example? Well, E, F, G. And what will happen now if I copy the exact same shape again? It became a G chord. So I followed the alphabet. E, F, G. I'm moving this chord shape across the fretboard to create all the other chords. Okay, then, if this is G chord, would this be a G minor chord? Yes, it would. If this is a G triad, would this be a G minor triad? Yes, it would. Anytime you find the three colors of this shape, you're going to have a triad. No matter if it's a major following the E major shape, or if it's a minor, following the E minor shape. I should have placed the minor in there. Okay. So hopefully that is clear. So in the beginning of the video, I played G to A minor. Okay. So we already know G, so we could play that little triad over here. Let me demonstrate. This is your full G chord using an E shape moved 1, 2, 3 frets higher up the fretboard. And I'm only going to use these 3 strings, strings 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to mini bar these 2 strings and place my middle finger over there. And that's your G major triad. Okay, so now I've got my first chord, so I could go. Or I could go. Right? Or I could go. Or I could go. In triad form. Okay? Now, let's find our A minor. That's our second chord, right? So, we're on E, F. We move this from E to F to G, and now the musical alphabet ended. There's no more letters after G, which means it has to start in the beginning again with A. So if I move this note from G 2 frets up, it's going to become an A. Now, if I copy this exact same thing, again, because we're moving that chord shape, that's going to become A major chord using an E shape. Hopefully that is clear. This is a chord, this is a shape, okay? Now, we don't want an A major chord. We want an A minor chord. How did we transform this shape into minor? We moved this here, right, to create an E minor. Well, we're going to do the same thing over here because it's exactly the same shape. So now, where are your triads inside of the shape? I'm going to be using the 3 thinnest strings, red, green, and blue. Boom, triad. So, this is your full A minor shape, A minor chord using an E minor shape, but I'm only going to play the 3 thinnest strings. Awesome. So G was here, and A is over here. So look at the minimal finger movement. I got to go from this. I just place this finger on the 3rd string in front of that bar, of that mini bar, to create a major chord, and I lift it up to create a minor chord. Super easy, super economical, right? So now I could go. Or I could go. Super easy to do. This is how you find your triads. There's the same colors are in each chord shape that you already know. You just got to break them up to see where your triads are. And it's super easy to move up the fretboard using 1 or 2 fingers for every triad. Give it a go. If you want to know more on how triads work, how the fretboard works, the concept of shapes versus chords, go and download yourself a copy of the Beginner Guitarist Playbook. It's helped more than 100,000 beginner guitarists understand how the fretboard works and how to master it. It's free, and I'll see you inside.